Dude, start the podcast.
Wow.
We recording, Gordon?
Recording, Gordon.
All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Freedom 35ers, Cardano NFT podcast, episode 36, technically episode 37 for all the OGs out there. My name is Tommy. I go by TOMMY.
And I am the other Tom. I go by Lavish Bear.
And this week, we're joined by an OG, an F35er, a podcaster, a content creator, a friend in the space, and of course, a returning guest on the show, BlakeCNFT. Welcome on, man.
Hey, it's always good to be on the Freedom 35ers. You guys are, as I've said before, as I said in the last time I was on, you guys are part of my weekly digest of CNFT content. So it's great to be on.
Yeah, of course. And you are our first returning guest onto the show as well. So it's dope. It's dope that we're getting that far into advance now that we can start doing like recaps. And I know recently I think you had Thor on again for the market update. So it's cool that we're getting that far into the life cycle of doing this, that we can do like follow-up episodes. Yeah,
I think it was January. It might have even been December when I was first on. So that's kind of crazy.
Episode 13. I just looked it up.
Episode 13. Yeah. So it's a wild thing.
We're on 36 right now. That's insane to think about right now.
Sometimes it feels a little bit slow, and then you look back like that and you're like, wow, 5-6 months goes past. Yeah.
It is fine, man. Well, we appreciate you jumping in tonight. We had our episode, kind of 35 week running in last week, our golden episode. And so that was fun. We got through a nice little week of giveaways and all kinds of things. And then TJ has left us in our presence. He went to have, again, if you're in our Discord, he's had a baby. Everything's doing great with him. He's hanging out with the family this week. So we appreciate you filling in for the third for us over this week.
Yeah, it's an honor to fill in. Baby dirty calls, you gotta
I feel like you're one of the perfect guests, though, to have onto the show.
Well, I haven't really told anybody in the CNFT space, but I've got baby number 2 coming at the end of October. So I'll be in TJ's shoes here in a couple of months. So that's amazing, it's pretty wild.
Congrats to you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Wow, look at that. Announcements all the time over here on F30.
I was going to say, we'll come over. We'll host the weekly update if you're out for a night. Yeah.
Hey, that would be awesome.
Awesome.
It just goes live on my channel. It's just
us. So yeah,
we got a 101 minted tonight.
yeah.
That's amazing. Congrats, dude. And I guess for anybody who may have missed episode 13 from us, or is just getting into the space, or for some reason hasn't seen you at all, can you give a little bit of background about what you do inside the space? What kind of gets you briefly into CNFTs and that kind of thing? Just a little introduction.
Yeah. So super quick, I've been in CNFT since their inception. I started my channel, blakeCNFT, in November of 2021. My main thing I say is I try to educate and inform people on Cardano NFTs and put projects in front of people that I think deserve their attention, and they decide if it deserves their ADA. So I do a weekly show every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I try to do a video or two throughout the week. And we'll do live interviews with projects. So it's kind of free flowing. It's my part-time gig, and kind of do it as a passion project. And it's been fun to watch it grow and to meet all the amazing people in the CNFT space and Cardano space. And so I'm excited to just kind of keep working at it. And, we're in a little bit of a slower period. I don't think anybody's, surprised by that anymore, but this is the time where people build and continue to network and continue to figure out for the listeners and for the watchers, like, what are the skills that I can bring to the blockchain? That's what's going to make it thrive. And seems like video and interviewing projects is what I'm good at, and maybe you're good at something else. So it's exciting times.
Yeah, for sure. I think I love your pitch, not a pitch, even a slogan, however you want to call it. That I put them in front of you. You decided they deserve your ADA. I think that's a great way to approach it. I'm kind of pissed that we didn't think of that first.
Well, it took a while to think about. I mean, it comes out simple, but it's like, people will sometimes blame bigger people in the space, like, Journey Crypto or BitBoy or whatever. And they're not perfect people, obviously, but, at the end of the day, you're the one that's putting in your spending password. You're the one that's clicking on your hardware wallet. And if you made a bad decision, like, look, I've made some BitBoys had some videos, and I've followed up on what he said, and they didn't end up being the best thing for me. But I don't go and say, BitBoy, I can't believe it. It's like, you idiot, why did you fall for that? So I've never had somebody say, like, you told me to buy this, because I rarely ever say it if at all. So I try to keep it that way, and I'm just a research point, and your channel, Freedom 35ers, and Block and Thor and Nick and Daily Chronicles and NFA Twitter Space, and I'm DJ and Travis and all the people, Crypto Heaps. So those are all great reference points to see like, hey, is this a good project or not? So I just try to be one little piece of it.
Yeah, for sure. I think we can all attest to that. And again, for you became quickly one of my like daily rotations too, for any kind of videos and stuff. I love your Thursday weekly, your recap, the market update that you do, and bringing all the guests on the live stream. And it's such a cool format. It's always fun to tune into that. So it's fun to be able to support you. It's great to see you grow as well. I think we're kind of both in the same boat as far as this is our part-time gigs. It's something that we're trying to make something, but right now, we only have so much time in the day and allocation and resources to put into it. So it's fun. Hopefully maybe in a year from now, you never know where we'll be at and what we'll be talking about, but yeah, it's cool to kind of be in the same boat with you in that thing. So, and we be completely two different things at the same time.
Yeah, it was also cool to be in your neck of the woods a month or two ago and to get to hang out with you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Tom, I'm sorry we weren't able to connect that night, but it was a lot of fun. Every time I'm going to a new city, I'm thinking like, oh, who could I meet up with or who could I see? And as the space grows, that's going to become more and more common. And yeah, so it's cool to do that.
Dude, that was so much fun. I completely forgot that. I was going to make mention of that, and I completely forgot on the set list for tonight. But that was so fun. It was like a random, just event. Like you said, you had something going on for like work and stuff. And it's like, hey, by the way, I'm in the area. And that connection would have never had happened, like you said, if we had not been doing what we're doing. So yeah, it's cool to turn this online world into like real friendships and things like that. It's very exciting. And it was dope, man. It was fun. We got to chat, sit down, hang out, just hang out and talk CNFTs. It was a fun time.
You guys went to Player One, right? The bar?
Yeah. We went to a little video
had a drink and just talked at NFTs like we would have if we were on Zoom. And it was great.
It was like a natural like reaction though, too, at the same time. Like it was like nothing had ever happened, like it was just like, hey, I've known you for a long time.
You just kind of stepped into it and was like, yeah.
It was cool. So much fun. I just was looking through there right now. I don't know if you guys can see the screen. I think I pulled it up over there. Blake, I have to say that you were way taller than I expected you to be. I'm a pretty tall dude. I'm like 6'1". You're a tall dude. I'll give you that.
No, it's Zoom and videos are so weird. I've done that with like work people and like other people, and it's like you don't get a height. You don't know where the heck they are. They could be 5'6", they could be 6'4", and it just it doesn't
throw you off. So. Even like sitting next to you in the car, I was like, oh, all right, sounds good. I get out. I'm like, that's tall, man.
I thought that's the same exact thing I saw right when you showed that to me, Tommy. I was just like, he's a lot taller than I guess. I just didn't know. Like you said, it's not like I was like, oh, I think Blake's like 5'5", probably. I just couldn't tell. Yeah. And then I know how tall you are, Tommy. So just seeing that, I was like, I don't know what I expected, but he's taller than that.
That's why it's going to make it interesting for CNFT Con, right? Like all the people that I talk to every day. It's like, what do you look like in real life? Like kind of thing.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
But it was a great time getting to know you. And I know, obviously, when we get to CNFTCon and meet all these different people that we've had, in Twitter Spaces, on these interviews, and just behind screen through Discord, it's going to be a lot of fun. So this is the power of that space. And like you said, getting a chance to interview others and get the word out is fun for us. And I know it is for you as well. So Happy to have you on. Glad if you're on this week. And it was, again, fun to always meet up. I kind of wanted to break into one of the first topics of the night. This is a new mint that kind of actually still going on currently, or is going to be continuing on. Is a big one of the, I guess, bigger mints recently. Over the last few weeks, we've been kind of stagnant as far as like hyped up projects, but this has been BlockOwls, and they're back for their third mint over there. They're forget they call it the Chapter 1. The end of Chapter 1 mint. It's like C hashtag. Yeah. I forget the actual pronunciation or how that is, but they've dropped their I think there's like 1,100 of them minted so far out of the 1,423. And they had like a was it a bot or something like that, or something like exploited their system that got past the whitelist and was able to, and they kind of,
is that what it was? I wasn't sure.
I was trying to read it's in their Discord. I don't know if you want to try to scrounge for it, but the basic gist of it was somebody figured out that there's staking addresses, and then there's just your regular address. And somehow somebody was able to make it look like a regular address when it was a staking address. And so they can pull multiple owls or something. I don't really know. Someone just kind of got around it and was able to mint more than what they were allowed. And Yeah.
I think they got like 30 of them is what they said. They recognized it pretty quickly. Yeah, it was a way that they basically turned their wallet address until make it look like a staking address. And they were basically allowed to unlimited mint. But they caught them after obviously a few, 30 of them got minted. So luckily it wasn't too bad, but they went ahead and paused it and they were working on a way. They said hopefully by the end of the week. Is what I got from the last announcement. So possibly when we were listening to this on a Friday, they may have minted or they may not yet. So, and then there should be a few left over from what they said as well. So they will open that back up to the people on that whitelist to have a chance to potentially mint another one outside of that. So
it's always disappointing as much as that, it fucks things up. That's why we can't have nice things, because someone's got to ruin it and try and scam to take advantage. And, they're going to make a ton of money. They're trying to play the system, but it just really screws it up. But that being said, it is kind of a good endorsement knowing that people like botters and scammers or, resellers are coming in trying to buy up and hold 30 or, tens of multiples of your project. It definitely shows hey, even the guys that are botting have the faith in this that at least have the value on the secondary. So that's, one positive to take out of it. They're not going to do that with a project they think is going to go below floor. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're not going to bot the shit out of that. So
I think BlockOwls too, which we've talked about. I know, Blake, did you mint any of the first two mints that they did?
I didn't mint them, but I ended up picking one up off of secondary. Shout out to Cardano Robin. When I had him on my Thursday stream, he was like, dude, you've got to get one blockout. And I was like, You're totally right. I got to get one. So I got the Plutus collection, which was their second group. I got an Ace, which is the tennis ball guy, for
nice.
115.
I love the tennis. They're pretty still reasonable too. I was looking at one of those the other day. I was going to snag one.
Yeah. So I grabbed an Ace, and then that got me a whitelist. And I've been on a work trip. It's not really an excuse because I could have just minted from Eternal, but basically I was on a work trip and just didn't get around to it. And so I'm part of the group that had a whitelist, but the mint is currently delayed. So I'm waiting for them to kind of clear everything up. And if I see the announcement in time and try to still get one,
I'm going to pull that epic or mythic out of there. Right?
That would be awesome.
Have you got the chance to look through some of these? Now I know you're still catching up a little bit. You got home a little late.
Oh man. We got to go.
I was talking to Blake, but Tommy, you got home a little late too. So
some of these are really cool this week. It's just what is the Guana? Tommy, I know you were talking about the Ace.
Guana, yeah.
They just get better and better.
They got a pretty decent floor. Right now the floor is all over, obviously, because not the full series is minted. They paused it. So only what ones got out are out right now for sale. It's kind of a limited demand. But I know from them, so far, a lot of the teaser ones have been doing pretty well. They seem to be people, really wanting them quite a bit, like the pancake one or whatever one there, or the waffles, and then the Spartacus one.
There's so many cool different ones over there. I got to go up to the top, because if I can pull up the Bolt one, I think Bolt is probably my favorite out of any of them.
Some of the new ones some of the other ones that they didn't show off look really good.
Really? I don't know if Bolt will play over here.
Yeah,
this
Bolt
is probably Bolt's probably my favorite, I think, out of all of them right now. But it's just the animations of every single one, what they can do in that short amount of time. And kind of go. Twitter's kind of butchering this right now.
It's great on mine.
And the sound too, because they weren't in the originals, and now they've added the sound effects. So that just gives it that much more of an immersive NFT experience.
Even when they first did it, was like, what, you sent in 5 data with your owl, and they sent it back with the sound. That was awesome.
It was so cool. And now, they've evolved this project every single drop, and then coming back from December-ish time until where we're at now, it's so cool to see them. I just feel, because we were playing a trailer the other day on live stream while it was breaking. Trying to. The trailer was breaking over there, which we got to run it in the background now just to be able to see it a little bit. But these guys feel like almost like an Angry Birds or something. They could get away with a full animated series, and you could just watch it and have a great time. And they don't have any kind of actual dialogue in here either. It's all just strictly animation. So I think that they have so much potential to do so much with this project. It makes me excited. Like I said, I think it's also kind of confusing for others outside, because they're just like, oh, it looks really cool. What are they doing? Everybody's like, I don't know. I know they do animations, but outside of that, what else are they doing? I know they got a roadmap, and it's talking about clan wars and future drops and things like that. But where do they go from here? And this feels like one of the ones where if you do maybe pull in a little early, the potential for what they could do because of the high quality, there's a big opportunity there, I feel like.
Absolutely. They don't play well as a PFP project. I mean, NFTs are still kind of dominated by does it look good on my Twitter profile, or does it look good in my Discord circle, image? But some of the most powerful brands in the world are animation studios, and what these guys have produced so far in these little mini short, 3-minute things like that. This is absolutely incredible, like world-class unreal animation. And so, I think people, I think people are sleeping on these. I need to do a follow-up video, to be honest.
Right.
And
deep dive into
actually
this a
just
little bit.
doxed as well. So that was one thing when I did a video in December or something, like January or something.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to see the founders, and they just did they're going to start doing weekly AMAs, I believe is what they said. So
I know Kent over there, and I know Taylor, I forget, it's Taylor Murphy maybe is another one from the team that always reaches out or something like that. But I know Kent over there was originally, I don't know if they were like a one-man kind of show for a little bit, and then they ended up hiring a bunch of new people after the first drop and really starting to build it out. So I mean, obviously, clearly they're talented. You can kind of see this is, and I don't know if they've done, I'm sure they've had other work in their backlog of like being on studios or TV, like film shows or something like that.
They do. Do you remember the guy W.W? He was a member of Space Ape Club.
Yes.
I don't know if he's still around. I couldn't find it, but he did some work for BlockOwls because he was a big fan, and he sent me a link of their Kent's work history. Mm-hmm. So Ken has worked for like Louis Vuitton, Coca-Cola, like his resume is world class. So like, he's put together stuff for those types of brands. And I was trying to get him to verify if that was actually true. And for the most part, he said, Kent saw the link and was, like, is this real? And he was like, yeah. So
that's amazing.
They've done some crazy stuff.
Yeah. I think they got a huge opportunity here for what, the quality alone can kind of sell it. And I think that's been the main sell for everybody. Cause the most people that I think I've talked to in the space, is like, I've heard of BlockOwls. They look really cool. I don't know anything else about them. And that's kind of the gist of where they're at, unless you're deep inside their community. So that's definitely one we should probably follow up on a little bit more as well. It's just one of the ones where it's like, oh, they're minting. Sounds good. I'm going to go mint one of those because I know
it's just a no brainer. Yeah.
Yeah. A worst case scenario, I know it's going to be, a little bit more profitable than what I bought it for. So even in a market like right now. So shout out to Blake right
here. That's awesome.
Yeah. So BlockOwls is definitely an interesting one. I hope your mint goes very well for you this week and you're able to get in, and hopefully maybe somebody will sneak in and get a little bit extra ones. But I think I remember I heard Chronic yesterday. He minted it. I was either an epic or something, or maybe a legendary, one of the higher tier ones, and he sold it for like 3K ADA or something like that.
Nice.
So he had a nice little jackpot on him. So I know they're him and Chronic and Chrissy are very big on this project as well. It's one of the first one. I guess it's the first Cardano NFT he had ever bought, he said. So definitely an interesting project to get into. And I'm just glad it's over on Cardano, man. It's just, when they say high quality artwork, man, here you go. This is nothing higher quality in in a space than these guys. So shout out to BlockOwls. It's something I'm still excited for long term. Mm-hmm. Quick little update too. Wanted to, because we're coming up on the end of June, is from Clay Nation. Did you see their Discord announcement recently? Right before we got on, they actually gave us an update stating that the Clay token that was supposed to release an airdrop at the end of the month of June is now getting pushed back a little bit. Blake, I don't know if you got a chance to see this yet.
I didn't see this yet. No.
So I guess they're basically talking to their lawyers. They're going through probably, and as they should, right, an extensive process about how to, disperse this and, the allocation, everything along those lines, what the implications of releasing a token in this market really are. And basically they were saying that the original time frame was going to get them the green light in June. Now they're saying that that's not the case yet. And they want to make sure that they're taking this action, that they cover everything across the board. But they said, we're confident in our process and how to execute this in the most sustainable and integral way. So hey, it's the Clay way, they say.
Well, sometimes you forget these kind of things, like, because so much of this world exists on Twitter with aliases and profile pictures that are cartoons, or within Discord where it's like, this is where I play video games. This isn't like a real adult shit with like legal teams and lawyers and IP or anything like that. So there's so much money being spent sometimes on like just Discord addresses that you send something off, get it back, and sell on JPG store, that you forget that, there's like a whole other side, taxes and international laws and stuff that they really got to pay attention to, so they can do this right, so that they're set in like a solid foundation for the future. So if this continues to grow as big as we think it's going to be, they didn't mess up somewhere early on that kind of jeopardizes everything.
It's a scary thing to release a token, and I guess it's such an unprecedented, and we're in such like an infancy stage still, especially with NFTs.
It's Wild West.
it's everybody's just like, release a token. That makes sense, right? And you can make money and stuff off that. It's like, okay, well, what if you get big enough to the point where now you got big money looking at you? And I mean, you've involved Snoop Dogg, Good Charlotte at this point. It's not like you guys are unknown in this space. You got Hodgson himself as well. So I think you got to approach this in the right way. And I think that's part of the reason why Clay has always been felt like that blue chip, that like esteemed project, is because they do have like that, they take the precautions and they do things the right way. You never know. Everything I felt like they've done so far has been high quality, at least, and it's been addressed in like a timely and a responsible manner. I don't feel like I'm taking a weird gamble with Clay. They always feel pretty spot on with everything that they
professional.
do. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Lena and Izzy, didn't they were what, Forbes 30 under 30?
Exactly. Yeah, like very fitting.
Yeah, it's amazing to see what they've done in such a short amount of time, literally about a year. Which is, I can't imagine they probably thought where they were going to be a year from now with that project either. Blake, you have anything like as far as that goes? Were you looking forward? Do you hold any of the pitches or any of the clays that I know this is one project that I know you're not very super exposed into, right?
I know. I have a Sonic Village that I picked up post mint, and all I can say is whatever Clay's going to do, they're going to do it right. But then again, they're headquartered out of the UK. So, but none of these governments have any like clear guidelines. Mm-hmm. So in the end, there is a level of risk. Like there's no legislation in any government that says, if you're an NFT and you release a token, this is how you need to do it. Like everybody's kind of just making it up. All you can do is kind of hedge your risk, and you can't basically, say something that deems it a specific category of, I don't obviously know a lot of legal jargon, but basically you're never 100% sure that it's not going to ruffle feathers, but you should still do your due diligence to kind of minimize that.
I think too, because like the floor price for those things is sitting over to 2,300, whatever it is, ADA right now. I mean, that's still, over $1,000 worth of USD. And you're not talking a little money. People who own, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 of these things, they got some capital behind that right now. So if they were to cash or sell or do any of that stuff, the legal implications of that, you want to make sure that you're covered somehow if they're doing anything as far as like tokenomics and just as far as allocation goes. So yeah, I always appreciate what they got going on. It's fun too, because we're getting little updates recently on this. I know that we had the 3D models for the actual 10K collection. It looks like the Charlotte. 3D models, the good Charlottes are expected around mid-July now. So it'll be fun to see those. Those floors have shot up too, from up to like just over 1,000 ADA now. So everybody's gearing up, and we'll see how this what does to the pitch price for that allocation. You got a little bit of extra time. Who knows how long, but it'll be cool to see that. And like you said, they're breaking into mainstream media too. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to quick mention this too, because I was sitting there the other day. I'm like, Snoop Dogg dropped a new album over here with his Death Row Records that he now owns. And on it's a track called Bron and Bronny. And it's got him and Champ Medici on there. And at the end of that song, he just shouts it out. He's like, Charles Hoskinson, what it do, nephew? And he just started ADA, Clay Nation. Like, it's kind of surreal, awesome. Like listening to that on like the track in your car. It's just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
It's crazy to see. So it is breaking. They're definitely one of those ones. And to me, I think I've always kind of attributed Clay to like more of like the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I'd say if you had like a big comparison to put it to, versus Spacebudz, where they feel more like the CryptoPunks, where they don't need to do too much, but they will always hold that OG and that first mover advantage. And at the day that Barry, Ale says anything about them, they're gonna go crazy. But Clay just feel like the community to be a part of in this space for Cardano.
In this type of market, Clay Nation is a top 5, top 3 project in the CNFT space. And if you're new to CNFTs and you want to put your ADA in a safer place, then Clay Nation. And there's lots of the other great thing about this project, there's lots of different levels of investment you can go in. I mean, if pitches are still at 500 ADA, that's $250 US. I mean, that might still seem like a lot for somebody who's like, this is an NFT, but $250 for that. Then you've got the $500 one if you want to get into the Clay Nation Good Charlotte, and then you've got the $1,500 one for. It's a nice little stair step ladder. How much investment you want to put into it. So, sure. But yeah, it's a great team, great project.
Yeah, I think you said it's a safe play if you're looking to invest in ADA. I feel like, nothing's a safe play in this, but they feel like, if you were going to go to somebody who you think is going to be here for the long term, that's definitely a project that I'd be looking to.
Yep.
So, I mean, that brings up like a good question though, too. Like, as far as like investing right now in the market that we're in, the bear market or just a period of uncertainty too, just in general, especially over in the United States right now with the economy. I mean, what is you've been around now for a while, since, early, what is it? What'd you get in? What was your official chart? Like May?
September.
Well, Tom was. I was like, what? Sure, Tom, go ahead. Take it on.
First mint was Cardano bits, but I watched Spacebudz, but
did you?
Yeah, I didn't mint it.
So you've been around for a while now, right? So you've been through this cycle. I was in August and
had your year anniversary now.
Yep.
Yeah. So you've seen a lot of projects come and go throughout this space. You've seen the evolution of projects and mint, the styles that they've done. And I'm sure your investing strategy has changed over, this time, especially now doing what you're doing. What's your strategy currently now for investing into new projects or just investing back into projects in the market that we're in?
Yeah, it's really difficult, but I think it's helpful to have the viewer or listener realize what strategy they're comfortable with. Some people are like, I'm just going to mint and try my luck and hit a big hit, like get a rare, get a legendary. And I'm really good at being non-emotional and just trying to get stack my ADA as fast as possible. There are other people who are good at like, okay, this project is at this price, but they've got an event coming up in a couple of weeks, which will, move them up, 50% increase on the floor or a 2x or something. And so I'm going to wait for that. And I'm going to take profit off of that and move it into whatever. And then there's people like me who tend to be a little bit more emotional. And I see a project like Spacebudz and I'm like, I gotta be in that project just because the historical significance, the floor is not going to just absolutely skyrocket. At least what we've seen, it's been very stable, probably the most stable of any of them. But it's not going to move a lot. So that's one thing. Figure out what type of investor you are. And for me, I'm kind of a blue chip guy. So I'm trying to move and take profits out of B and C projects. It's not that they're bad. It's just they might be a metaverse or a gaming project or something, and their time horizon is 12 months from now. And it's like, I'd rather not have my ADA sitting in that. And the floor hasn't gone down from when I bought it or from when I minted it, but I'd rather have the liquidity. And then I'm going to pull all that together and then buy something big like a Chilled Kong or a Claymate or anything that I consider, a Yummi universe for 700 or the seasonal. Just a little shout out because in one of my members' videos, the Spoopy Narus are only 285. They're the cheapest of the seasonals, and the fall is coming up, which you get 4 times the staking Yummi. So you can pull your ADA together to grab a Spoopy to then have that fall season where you're gaining 4 times Yummi coin. But the other thing too that is interesting that I think Thor pointed out in last week's live stream was for new mints, though, the projects that are just trying to make the quick buck aren't as reticent to like jump in because they're not going to sell out. Right. So now the quality of new mints is going to have to adjust because it's not just a bunch of people making money or doing rug pulls because the liquidity is not there. Everybody's kind of holding on. So there are going to be gems that are minting right now or in the next 2 or 3 months that could compete with Clay Nation or Spacebudz, but it's going to be harder to find them because everybody's so scared to mint. So it'll be it's really interesting. It's a really interesting time.
Yeah.
Tom, what do you think?
Yeah. What you got, Tom?
Well, I mean, like you said, it definitely depends on what you're trying to do. If you're a new person coming in right now too, it's a cheap time to buy ADA. So it's easy to watch one of our videos, watch one of your videos. If you're just looking for a few solid projects to get in on a discount from what like most of us paid for it a couple months ago, you can snag those and then kind of fill out the communities and start getting the discords as you let them grow and ADA kind of correct itself, or hopefully we see this whole crypto market kind of correct itself. It's also a good time to get in cheap if you have no ADA and roll the dice on a few easy mints early on. It's always a dice roll. So, it's always so random. So even on a project that may not be that great or even sell out right now, if you do end up with one of those epic or legendaries, you're still sitting all right. You're gonna be doing okay with that. Selling that out. It still usually seems to see those, 500, 2,000, 5,000 sales even on the projects early on that aren't even done minting yet. So it's good times for those things for us, like that have been around a little bit longer. If you're someone that's been in the space and have a little bit extra money that you maybe would have been rolling into different things. It's good times, like you said, buy something like a chilled Kong with new ADA, because you can get it 50% off, or maybe even 25% off, depending on where you bought it for, which you bought it at. So that's kind of what I've been doing, is looking at these projects, especially ones that you see people buying a lot of, because you can go to some of the stores and you see the activity on those projects. And, is this project, did 2 sell this week, or did 15 sell today? And it's like people are stacking these, trying to get ready for a run on them or something, and buying those up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's always a good way to look at stuff too, is always utilize your resources, right? Like we make content and we provide, stuff for you guys to kind of take in, but also look in, through Twitter, through Discords, through OpenCNFT.io. You can study kind of some of the analytics right now for where we're at. If you look back, I just actually looked at OpenCNFT while we were pulling it up right now. Our 24-hour ADA volume is 810,000. So we were under 1 million ADA on a 24-hour mark, which back in this pulls me back into even maybe late February, right before the Clay Snoop announcement went through, where we were trading just right around that 1 million ADA mark. And then once Clay shot up, we were at one point, I think we hit 4 million.
I was gonna say 3 or 4 million. Yeah.
It was in between 3 and 4 million in a day. So it brought a lot of new money. Cornucopias had a bunch of new, all that ADA got spread out once that drop happened. So there's not a lot of liquidity out there right now, as far as, especially minting into new projects. A lot of people, I think for me, my kind of strategy in this market right now has been dollar cost averaging into ADA itself. Because it is heavily discounted from where it was a year ago, or even, just a few months ago. So for me, like Tom said, he's got projects that are out there for 2,000, 3,000 ADA that's more like $1,000 these days, or even a little bit less. I can get into a blue chip project that, may shoot 2-3x more than this once we get through some of this stuff. So for me, my kind of strategy has been also picking up kind of passive income kind of plays to projects that are established, that are doing Yummi, for example, or, just something that you can stake, that, or like Clay, where they're giving you an airdrop, is something that's going to earn Ave Society, where they're doing a society token, things like that. I'm kind of looking at plays now where, instead of just taking the gamble on the initial mint, where it's going to, rocket me up or just keep me right at floor level if I get a common, I'm going towards some of those projects that, hey, I'm going to buy something, but this is going to produce something that potentially can earn me more ADA. How can I increase my ADA by making an investment? So that's kind of been my strategy, and what I recommend a lot of people who are like, hey, where do I start? It's well, if you're looking to spend some ADA, kind of maybe put it here, because it's going to work for you right now. We have those options finally available. It's because a lot of stuff's coming online too, is we're getting into that portion of the market. So yeah, it's definitely interesting.
One final piece I'll say for people who are new, consider whatever amount you buy ADA, or, consider it just an educational course, if you will. If you have $300 that you're hey, this, I'm not dependent on this for rent or for whatever. I know, inflation or, markets are tight, but if you have $250 and you're I want to try out this NFT thing, just the experience of going to an exchange, buying ADA, making a Nami wallet or Eternal, whatever, getting it over there, going to JPEG store, connecting your wallet, doing a mint or buying it in it, you will be above 99% of the population, just getting the education. That's all free, basically, depending on how much ADA you buy. And then after that, hey, maybe you did a bad mint and you lost the 250, and all the NFTs are, worth half or a quarter of what you paid for. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. All of us have made bad mints and have made bad trades, because that's just the educational portion of it. But we're better on the other side, because now we know better. and just the learning by doing. I think everybody kind of understands how important that is, rather than just, watching a video by itself or reading something on Twitter. So that educational piece is going to be really important as more people get onboarded into Ethereum or Cardano or Solana NFTs.
I think they're
not going anywhere.
No, not at all. And I think the NFT thing is going to be here to stay. It's more of the fact that we're not in the initial wild west stages where it didn't matter what it was. If you minted it, it was going up. We're kind of past those days where things are a little more selective, and we're to a point now where if you drop a 10K collection, it may not sell out. There's not enough liquidity even in the market now, because we've been doing this for so long that everybody's so spread into all these different projects. Where are they pulling that liquidity out of to go and get into something new? It's definitely a different time frame right now. So if you are, like you said, somebody new getting into this space, it's definitely pays to do a little bit of research, buy into your ADA. Don't just jump into something right away. Do a little bit of research and watch some different videos, different things on Twitter, follow some Discords, see what everybody's kind of talking about. and then kind of make an educated guess. Hey, I'm going to go mint this one and try out the flip or try the hold or whatever it may be. So I think that's a good thing. And then because we've had a couple of mints that are very interesting. Like I feel like the marketing strategies for some of these projects right now have shifted and evolved and grown over time. And it's been interesting to see, like, like back in the day, I would go on whenCNFT.io or whatever it was and see all these projects that minted this week. And I'd be like, all right, well, I'm going to grab this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then I'm going to go sell them and flip them. Nowadays, it's like, what is this project? Do they have a website? Do they have a metaverse? Do they have a token? Do they have a game? What's their long-term goal? Is it just art? Like there's so many more layers to it in order for you to invest. So one of the first and interesting projects that we wanted a quick mention over here. And we're actually involved with this project too. We're actually built into it.
Yeah, we're in it.
Yeah, not even that. Like we're in it right now. Is Digital Lowlifes by the Art of Joseph. It's just such a unique, a different project because we started talking to us, I think maybe back in like early in the year. I don't know if it was February, January, something like that. But this is a profile pick project that's actually drawn by some members of the community were drawn into it and have their faces and immortalized into this collection of 5,000 NFTs. And they've got different traits, different things. And then there's some static characters and some fun people in there as well. But Tom, TJ and I were actually able to be drawn into this, and we use this in some of our things as well. We thought it was such a interesting way to market a project because you had people whose faces that were already drawn in bought into it, right? Like right. You automatically were going for that because you wanted to get yourself. And then for people outside of it, it was definitely one of those where I'm like, you, Blake, I know you weren't drawn in. So I'm kind of curious to hear your perspective on a project like this where you weren't a part of it at all as far as like trying to get yourself. So what your thoughts were of like getting somebody else's face into this? Because this was such a unique, I don't know, it's a different way to, you haven't seen anything like this in this space.
Yeah. What was the mint price? Was it 60?
60. It was 60.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty fair mint price, but for me, I think with just the current trend, like stuff just doesn't sell out. I think at, 2 months earlier, if this would have come out, like it would have sold out pretty quickly. Yeah. But everybody's just kind of holding on a little bit closer. I didn't mint any of these, but I think they're awesome. I wish that my face was on here. But I think it's a really cool project and a great idea because like you said, you're just creating buy-in by putting everybody's faces of the community in there. So it's really cool.
So they've had it, and it's an interesting thing too, because I know we were waiting for a while. We were like, we weren't sure how it was going to work out, right? There's 5,000 of them total, and so far we're at 2,081 minted right now. So some people haven't even been minted yet as far as their faces go. So I wasn't sure how this was going to sell either. And I know Tom, you just got minted finally today. It took a few days for your face.
I didn't actually look at the time it minted, but yeah, finally saw it in there.
Yeah,
I was like, I lost track in the
nice.
Discord. It was so hard to keep scrolling through it all the time. So I was got JPG and found it much faster. But it's the plain one. It's the original one he sent me. I think they said there could be 1 to 3 versions of you.
Yeah.
I hope there's 2 more then, because I assume this is the OG one. There's like 2 upgrades. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, CJ got a pretty sweet one, like a cool visor, and you got like a gold one.
Yeah, I got one that had like a different color scheme. So I had like the blue hat and the blue face. He updated my little nameplate and stuff like that.
UFC colors over here. UCF colors.
UCF colors. Yeah, shout out to my alumni.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That black and gold. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So it was interesting, and here was played the fun part because this is like the big question on this week that I forget Revival. And he posed this question, and it caused a little bit of like a stir inside the community where he was saying basically, if you're trying to profit from minting a digital lowlife, Fidukin in his case, his face was here. He goes, it's not going to end well. Just send it to him. He might even let you have a bit of ADA for your finding. You never know, but this is just uncalled for. And somebody had 2 versions of his thing listed for 600 ADA and 2,000 ADA. In my opinion, like I said, like you run a weird thing here because in any other NFT project, if it wasn't a face and you got something rare, of course you're going to sell it for more money, more ADA. And this thing, because it is tied personally to like a face, and even in this case of digital lowlifes, they have a Snoop Dogg one that's a picture of Snoop's face, and damn well that somebody's minting that and going to list it for hire. So this raised a weird question because you have like community members now, and it's like, oh, go give it to them, and it's like, maybe I'll give it to them.
It all depends if there's a market though. Like to me. Okay, they are well known within our bubble. These are like, bigger influencers and stuff within the CNFT space. But is that like a big enough celebrity where there's a market within our space too that someone wants to spend 600 ADA on it? Like that seems kind of crazy. Like even, you know, so to me, it's like, hey, if you want to post it and there's a market and someone's going to buy it for 2,000 ADA, that's yours. Like, you know, take your profit. That's awesome. You know, that's just how it works. If someone wants to buy it for that, then they should have it too. If you do put it up for 600 and you're getting 0 offers on it though, to then not go to like, you know, Faha and be like, hey, here, I'll give it to you for like min price or, you know, 78 or whatever.
Hey,
or something.
Half off. What would you pay for this? I'm curious. Like, I'll reach out to you, at least see, right?
Half off. Why am I taking a loss? Because I got your face. I'm supposed to give you a gift now? That's not how that works. Yeah, it's like, no, you can at least reimburse me for the money I spent or give me another one of these or something.
Oh, yeah,
like,
at least a min. I would say
yeah,
I did.
No, if you don't give me at least minimum min, like
I think
it's
he was
like,
saying half of 600.
Oh,
Yeah,
I got you.
yeah,
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Why am I giving you money?
Yeah,
How's that working out? Okay.
Now,
I got you.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this, Blake, from being on the outside?
Well, it's interesting because there's a few different case studies. You have something like a regular mint where you have the rares and it's all, you know, randomized and you mint and you don't know what you're going to get. Then you have the digital Lowlifes where you put your ADA in, you don't know what you're going to get. Oh, you get a Fahadukin or you get a, you know, Cardano Thor or whatever. And it's like, this is a rare. So you list it for what you think a rare is worth. Then you have something like ADA handle where people are they're typing in a name that's not theirs. Yep. And then they're trying to get, you know, Fahadukin or somebody else to buy it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a totally different thing.
Yes. 100%.
Where you're purposefully trying to mint it before they do to then get a profit out of it. Where this one's like, hey, I mean, I wasn't trying to get Faha, but you know, there he is in my wallet. So yeah. I mean, why wouldn't I try to, you know, get it for 300? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the valuation is worth, but 3x my money, you know, maybe 180 ADA, maybe 200 ADA. For getting Faha's face, I don't know. It's a gray area, I'll say.
It definitely. I think you put a good perspective on that, though. It was like the ADA handles are one thing, right? Like you're purposely going out and trying to take something to make more money on it, right? Take it away from somebody who's like, hey, this is mine. Like it's supposed to be a personalized thing. Like my name's Fahadukin. Like that's, you know, that's something nobody outside the space would go purposely do that, right? Yeah. But for in this case, they know they're big inside this thing. Sure, they're going to go try to get them. But in this case right now, I mean, that's pretty crazy. Someone has put an offer out and not accepted for like the TV, like head 1,008 right
for the
there.
what? What is that?
It's like a TV. I'll let it load over here in a second, but it's interesting because you have some people buying up some like, you know, like mid price stuff. And then there's others that sell for like this. And usually it's like somebody inside the community over here. So that's what I've been noticing is that most people aren't really scooping up the floor ones unless they're like somebody built into the community itself. So it's definitely an interesting like look on like how the secondary market gets like done for these right here. Yeah, this is the one that went for 1,000. Right so here. the one that the pulled.pm that you pulled up, you own that one, or that's just so for mine, yes, I did end up grabbing it because once the guys in my Discord, or I think it was Shiny or somebody mentioned, he's like, hey, you got minted finally, because mine took like a day or two, and I was looking for mine. And I'm like, yeah, of course I want to go get it, at least, you know, try.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna go make a joke. I'm gonna go make an offer on it for a certain price, and then he's like, oh mate, there's already 88 offer on it on my thing, and I was like, it's 180 right now. I'm like,
someone already offered it too. That's crazy.
Somebody put an offer on my thing, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go pick this up before I get Fahadukin. Yeah, before I get Fahad over there. I'm not trying to do that because I'll be honest with you, if somebody listed me for 600, I might buy it, but just eventually I'll buy it, but not right now. I wouldn't have gone for it right away.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is as people, you know, once again, there's going to be people on both sides, but the people that are yelling at people for not selling the rares for higher, that's gonna deter people from minting, because it's like, well, then I don't want to get yelled at for minting a rare, and then I don't feel like I can get make a profit off of it.
I'm supposed to give it away now. Yeah, exactly.
I'm supposed to give it away. So like, why would I even mint it in the first place?
Yeah, what's the purpose of like, hell yeah, I got like, I mean, if you get a Snoop or somebody for sure, right? Like you're super excited for that. But for
all right, Snoop, I'll send to his, but he's got to come on the show.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so
I'll hold it for ransom.
Yeah, it's just an interesting take on how like marketing. But this project is going to be interesting because he does like a bunch. He's trying to go for like a VR kind of like metaverse thing, like whole thing with that. He's got this rep token that they're going to be doing for like merchandise and used inside their ecosystem. So I'm curious to see, like, it's always going to be weird because it's like there's like generic like faces inside the collection where it's like, okay, there's not a real person, but it's just like a face, and it's like, how do you represent yourself inside of this like metaverse? It's definitely a weird I guess it's just different. Like you know, unless it's yourself. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be rocking another PFP of myself inside of there. It
was fun watching the Discord, people trying to connect the random faces to like actors and cool. Famous people and stuff. It was just funny. Some of the ones they're like, yeah, you know, I'm pretty sure that's the uncle from like, you know, Steve Urkel's uncle right there.
It's like, oh, I know that guy. And it's like, oh, okay. I think, I don't know if TJ's still around here. Oh, that's me. I forget which number TJ was. It's like 28, maybe something like that. But anyway, no, that's definitely not TJ. So anyway, it's just it's an interesting debate of a project right here. Yeah. I'm pretty sure one of the guys, like somebody like bought one of those and gifted it to Faha over there. So
CNFT BTC.
Yeah, CNFT BTC. He gifted one of those. And I think the other guy was listing it for like delisted, and he saw what was going on. If anything, it was great advertising for him as well. So, hey, I mean, people got to.
I would have delisted it and then doubled the listing.
Yeah, right. I don't know. It's an interesting debate, but it's that's one way to market like for a new project, right? It was something different, and it was cool. And a big shout out to Joseph Miranda on that. I'm really still a big fan of the project. I thought the faces were very well done. The artwork was very well done. So, and it was cool. He tried something new inside the space. We'll see what it does long term, but it's definitely something I'm looking forward to. On the flip side of that, you have another project that we're very big on over here is the Mallard order. And this project is kind of it's creating a new lane as far as like marketing and getting itself out there inside of space. It's trying something new. And it starts with some basic concept of just like exclusivity. Like you want to get in. It's something that not everybody's going to be able to get in, and you have to do work to do that. So this project to me, I know Tom now has purchased an invitation letter. I've got two myself, and TJ's got one that he got airdropped actually to him from interacting with this team. That's how they kind of started this, which is super interesting to me because they have yet to sell anything. Yet the volume for them is insanely high. I forget where we're at right now. 181,000 ADA traded so far in secondary sales for these 500 invitation letters, and they have yet to mint. So Blake, what are your initial like impressions? I don't know how far into this you've looked yet, but what's your take on something like this being airdropped, having a huge 1,800, 1,900 floor, whatever it is, and then they haven't even minted yet?
Well, shout out to you guys, because I feel like unless I'm missing other people talk about them, like you guys are the ones that are mentioning them a lot, and I'm very intrigued by it. I think some of the challenges and things that they do are really cool, and you can't deny the effectiveness of it and bringing a community of people around it. It reminds me a little bit of like an old money. Yeah. Where you have these challenges and people are trying to find different things and go through different ciphers and try to spot certain things and get to the end. So, I mean, you can't argue with an 1,800 floor. And when they do launch it, I mean, this is the slow approach. This is how I think a lot of projects should do it. Mm-hmm. It feels very organic. It feels very, shout out to TJ, because he was the one that kind of started off, but it's word of mouth. So somebody has a positive experience with your project and they're like, hey, Tom, we should like talk about this, or we should get into this. And then you guys talk about it. And then it's like this, we had so much fun this other day going through all the things. It's just that word of mouth, organic, like this is a really cool project. You need to get into it. And that's what, and then next thing you know, you got almost 200,000 ADA traded for something that you basically airdrop to some of the main or OG people. So it's awesome. It's cool to see.
It's cool because like the community has picked it up to a point where now a lot of initial people who got in, even us in the beginning, I was telling TJ, you should probably sell that thing. It's getting pretty high up there, and maybe buy back in, or it can't sustain this. And they've defied expectations, because every time I think I know what's going on inside there, they announce something new that gets people more and more excited. And I'll be honest, like I never was a hater of the project or anything like that. I was more kind of on the skeptical side for sure. And it screamed TJ profile pic kind of thing, so TJ's always been hammered by us for that. And then we use Chill Kongs as the example for him, where he's like, dude, I want to mint that. And he didn't mint that. And then Chill Kongs is where Chill Kongs is right now.
Well, we'll save that for the Make Fun of TJ segment we have later on in the show.
Yeah.
TJ's not here.
TJ, skip past his timestamp right now. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting approach though, as far as marketing goes. I think they've nailed the marketing portion of this, as far as like the exclusivity too. And they're also developing a community that wants to be there, because in order to actually mint this project, you have to be an initiate role inside their Discord. If you missed out on the initial date when they did drop their Discord links, you are what they call a stranger in the Discord. And this Discord actually allows you to kind of level up, which I thought was actually very, very, very unique. They have 8,400 people in here right now. And some of this stuff I'm probably not even supposed to be showing you, hopefully they don't kill me for doing this. But basically you have like these announcements for the strangers, and then you have to interact in their Discord in order to get an outsider role. And then the outsider role opens up to see some of the trials, and they drop 3 different trials that they're doing right now. They're coming up on the strength one, which is trial number 3 here. And you have to complete 2 out of those 3 trials in order to get an initiate role inside the Discord. And the initiate role is your whitelist into the project to be able to mint. They're doing 6,500 of these things, and those invitation holders get you 3 whitelist spots. If you hold one of those. And on top of that, they get you what they call daily blessings. So if you have, every single day, all the secondary sales that you see, that 181,000, they take the royalties from those secondary sales and do daily giveaways of 65 ADA, 100 ADA, 55 ADA, something like that, continuously doing. And then on top of that, they've also done free Mallard ducks. So you may be able to actually win a free duck just from doing some of the giveaways. So cool way to reward the people for holding. And on top of that, I guess those are going to grow more as we, they're starting to look like an overexposed Genesis token, from what I understand.
You get tempted at all, Tommy, to
sell?
To sell. And it's not even because of the floor. The floor is doing well. We make profits. It's because they are paying attention so much. They appear to be like, they got TJ his airdrop without him sending them anything. They just had his address. Not that it would be like his wouldn't be the hardest one to follow, but we hear like a lot of stories like that. They're
Cal got
definitely they're just definitely paying attention in the space, and they're like, don't burn your letter. We are watching. It's like in the actual letter itself is the audio
file.
Yeah. And then I'm just like, you make me want to burn it and see if I can get away. What if I sold it and got back in for 200 less? Would they know? And then I just want to see, like, that's what I'm saying. Down the line, there's some other like Discord trial. Exactly. I'm just like, wow, I get one less white man or something like that. Like, we told you not to do it. We told you. This guy, no.
You make like a good point on that though too, because it's like if you do go into their metadata for that, like there's an actual status now outside the audio file, and the status says legitimate at the bottom. What if they just illegitimize your status on there, Tom? You did something to go against the order.
That too,
and just rips it away from you. Like, I don't know, like who knows with this team. But they've got their website that's now officially like up right now. You can see some of the artwork, and it's a profile pic, but it's these ducks. And I think the artwork actually looks very clean for what they're building. I think every single one of these traits look unique in the sense that I haven't seen one where I'm like, that one's whatever. To me, all these, they all look very cool. I'd be happy to see
did you see the Darkwing duck one?
Yeah, I did see that.
That's my favorite one so far. Oh my God. I love that one. Darkwing ducks. Man, that's so cool.
Yeah, they got some cool stuff. I don't know. So
I know there are some popular duck projects on Ethereum, so it's definitely,
it's got the
they've
potential.
got a market. Yeah.
Well, the thing is they can keep this roll up, right? Like the team plays into, this is one thing about the team right here. Just so you can pull their profile pics. The artist, this guy Brain over here, dude, shout out to you, man, for awesome. Just the way that you've done, even Nemesis as well. But it's cool because like I always ruin his name, Demosthenes, or I cannot pronounce that.
TJ did not help you last week.
TJ was like Demosthenes, but not. I'm like, TJ, stop. He's like,
Demosthenes.
I don't know. What's it? Break? You got to crack at it. Can you break that?
Yeah. Demosthenes is what I'm reading.
Demosthenes. Yeah, okay. That's better. I just call him like Demo or Demo.
Just go with Demo.
Yeah, this guy though, he plays like true character on that Discord, man. If you go in there, you just like no mercy. Sometimes they're fully usually in character, but I think they have good intentions. So it has turned. I've seen a few people get turned away as far as like the way that they're being. But I think if they can build this exclusive community that's very dedicated to this, they can keep launching and creating new utility and things like that. I think this is one of the projects where I feel more safe as far as like getting into something new inside the space. This is one that I'm definitely, I'd recommend for anybody to take a look at. And obviously you need to do your own research and jump in. I'm not telling you to buy this and it's going to moon. Because if you do that, I'm going to look at you and be like, not financial advice, guys.
What? So it's invite only to mint.
Correct.
It's 100% whitelist.
You can invite yourself by getting an invitation. It's one of the two, but yeah, obviously it'll cost you a hefty price right now with the floor being like 17 to 1800 ADA. But pretty much they've updated their phase 1 roadmap and they're past the point of doing this last trial, which we think something's going to happen this weekend of maybe a potential airdrop for invitation holders too. They talked about like ancient items from the last code that happened. So we have 6,500 of these ducks. If all the 500 people minted 3, that would mean 1,500 go away. And then if they have any additional ones that go out, you're leaving like 4,000 like plus probably to the public at that point. So you got a good entry point for anybody new who wants to get in there. but you have to be part of that Discord and in that role to get it.
I am part of the Discord, and I've been in there so if you guys are watching this, would appreciate.
I want to see, how do you get an illegitimate invitation? I want to be the first one.
Status.
I want to be the first one with an illegitimate invitation.
Yeah, that would be funny to get. But Mallard Order is definitely one of the new projects that we're looking at right now. And yeah, it's been weird. I haven't really seen many people like talk about it. I mean, it's been mentioned before, but it's more, I think it's because you really have to be like in it to understand.
It's a lot of time for sure.
It's not just like, hey, I'm going to go mint this. It's like, well, how do you mint this?
Another reason like it's old money. Yeah.
We spent a whole Saturday on that trial number 2. And then I still ended up being too late because I got Sunday and Monday. I was just so done. They even extended the time and I went on and was just like, no, I missed it because Saturday took us all day long.
Yep. So, I mean, this kind of brings like now into like a new age of stuff is, like for me personally, I've always used to get into like gaming and prior to doing any of this podcast stuff and hosting and YouTube and all that stuff. That's kind of how I spend our free time. And even Tom, I know you were just like, I'm on Tarkov, right? If you want to jump on.
Oh man, the white happened today. I'm just waiting after this and jump back home.
For me, I used to play a bunch of Rocket League and Destiny. And now I don't play anything at all. My time spent here. But one of the cool things that kind of maybe can bridge that gap is NFTs and gaming on some of these, these play to earns and just new things that are coming out in the space. I think that's also like the evolution of projects too. A lot of these things are going the gaming route after doing their initial, like, here's the profile pic. Let's see, now we've raised some capital. Let's see if we can make a game out of this or do something along those lines. Like for you, I mean, what's your take on like NFTs and gaming? Is that something you're looking forward to in the space? I know like being a streamer, it's like for us, it's like, okay, well now we can do NFTs and do maybe the gaming at the same time. Like what's your take on that?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think there are a lot of projects that are currently on Cardano that have already minted that have high hopes and high expectations for what they can do with, what gaming and NFTs look like. That I think for the mainstream gaming community, for some reason, there's a hesitancy, which doesn't make any sense, especially with, I try to pay attention a little bit to that scene. And, there's the big thing is this new Diablo game that's come out and it's basically pay to win.
Immortal, yeah.
And so everybody's like, I can't believe it. But, but the other thing is like, but what if those were NFTs? Like, then if you were playing the game, then you could, have real world value. You could sell it on the marketplace. Somebody else could buy it. And there could be like this, other marketplace that you could actually gain value from and earn actual money for doing that. So I love seeing what that side could be like and what that could look like. So, cornucopias or there's another game that I might potentially be reviewing, but I don't know how much of an integration it is, but it's at least like you need to have this NFT to get access to the game, but then some other ones will be more immersive where the token will then be able to be transferred to ADA or to USD. And so all of those look really interesting. And we really don't have a lot of, when you have Axie Infinity, which is on Ethereum, you have Big Time, but there's not really a lot of them that are out yet. So it's a whole new world that will be really interesting to follow up, and it'll be cool to do some live streams and see what people think about them.
Yeah, it's definitely an untapped market right now. I know for sure. I think, I don't know where, saw like a stat or something like that, where like NFT gaming was like literally like a fraction, like maybe 5% of what the actual overall NFT, like, or just gaming market like is in general right now. So they haven't even touched into that. And I do think that as actual big corporations and understand, like, that's why I'm like, I look at Cornucopias and I'm like, they are way ahead of the curve. If this game is actually fun and that what they're building, it looks beautiful, right? They're running it in Unreal. If they can actually integrate this technology, and they already are working on that, like, dude, you got massive potential for that, because the fact that people actually own your actual asset, you can sell and trade, you can stake that asset to earn more of the in-game currency, which then you can actually trade for cryptocurrency and potentially cash out for real world fiat. I think the opportunities there are endless. And it's definitely, I think, a move where you're going to see eventually a big shift to NFT gaming. But I think for us, like being brand new into it, we haven't even scratched the surface of what it could do. I just think it's an interesting topic, because now you're starting to get games and projects, at least on Cardano, that are actually getting into that. Tom, what are your kind of initial reactions, thoughts?
It'll be interesting to see, because it's so early, how popular they can get. It's more too dependent. A lot of the promises you're going to earn. So somewhere there's like the market, at least for a lot of games, is not necessarily usually dependent on like, I'm playing this because I want to make money. Most people do it just because they enjoy doing it, and the games are then quality, hopefully because of that. Not always, but So the people are trying to attract a little bit different and getting that group into like, hey guys, you can come over, you spend a little bit of money to enter, but or in some cases, some games may be free to play. And then there's ways then to get it, where they maybe spend the money they earn in game, put it back in the ecosystem or whatever it may be. So I just think there's a lot of road bumps for getting it to like I don't even want to say mainstream audience, but even just like the gaming community involved. If some of these can show that they have value to their tokens, beyond fractions of pennies where you have to get, hundreds of thousands to really make it valuable for your time, where they're, I think they can get people in there though. If people are making like real money, plus the game is fun, it's not just like some weird grind kind of game. It definitely can work. It's more about just, like, it's like us, Tommy, we only have so much time to game and do this. So, people, as they get older, the people are going to be getting into these, to take time away from their current games and what they're doing to get into these is going to be difficult. But yeah, man, if you can get that passive income with a good game, I think, the person that can kind of get those. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So one of the reason I wanted to bring that topic up is because we are running into the first kind of era of these, and it just launched finally. I just wanted to kind of make a mention of it. I'm not going to go in too far in depth of this, but AdaNinjaz Shards of Ninava alpha is currently out now, and you can actually jump over to their website, the game.adaninjaz.com.
Doing this after you got to show me this. We got to jump on. This is all I've seen so far.
You can connect your Nami or Eternal wallet, and then I guess they can earn some in-game stuff. Like if you go over to the actual website, I had this up running, but you can actually earn like in-game things by having a certain ninja in your wallet and things like that. And they were kind of showing it off. I haven't actually connected my stuff yet to do this, and didn't have a chance to. But it's awesome to see that they have something that's actually online right now that you can play to earn their actual Ninjaz token. And this is a one way that you're going to be able to interact with the actual AdaNinjaz NFTs and eventually continue this ecosystem. They're doing like clan wars and arena fights and things like that. And the fact that they actually have a working game, this is one that actually kind of caught me off guard. Right. I didn't expect them to like have something so quick. So I don't know. We both talked to the AdaNinjaz team over both of our channels. We both got a chance. I think, who did you talk to? You talked to Tommy or Zushan or both?
First interview was Zushan. Second interview was Tommy.
Nice. Yeah, we were Tommy. Yeah, same thing with Zushan first, and then Tommy and Zushan the second time.
And then
around.
Tom the second time around.
Yeah, and then he was the other
Tom brought a Tommy in. Yeah.
Yeah. Tom was. I think it was a week you were gone. They're very, very professional though. Both of them over there. And what they do, I really love the team, and they have a huge they've sold out now 3 collections of 8,888 ninjas. They're looking to do this great burn here, hopefully soon to, I don't know if this is going to be like 3D models. They're kind of like alluding, they have like a music portion of the NFTs. They have so much going on in the manga and the lore. It's just, there's a lot of cool stuff with this team. And I'm excited for them because the fact that they've got this out right now means that they're grinding, they're working, and they're pushing, man. Yeah, this is definitely a project I'm happy for. I need to get into more.
The one thing that needs to be mentioned is that they wanted to make sure that we knew was all you have to do is have a Nami wallet. So you don't even have to. I don't even think you have to have ADA in it. So just
it has to have one transaction.
Oh, it does.
I think. Yes.
Okay, but you don't have to have a ninja to play. You just have to have a Nami wallet. So. Or Eternal, I guess. So they've got both of those ready.
Yep, they've got this here where it says you can connect and you receive an in-game cosmetic skin if you connect your wallet with any of the NFTs that are in that policy. You can connect your Nami or Eternal, and you will need to have at least one Cardano wallet, Eternal, Zero, Typhon, Flint, a lot of different ones actually now with at least one transaction. And they recommend using a new burner wallet. As scam and websites imitating our game will likely appear in the future. You can have a space.
That's true. It's a good point.
So interesting way to look at this. I'll definitely have to play around with it, but it's cool. Big shout out to AdaNinjaz too. I know kind of last minute for this on our topic list tonight, but just had to give shout out to that because I think play to earn. These guys are out. That's the first mover advantage for a big project is always key too. So if this game's interesting enough to keep your attention and then the Ninjaz token becomes, worth some actual pair value to ADA, I mean, they've got a lot going on. I'm really, really excited for this team. And it's cool to see it come online finally, right?
Well, it looks like a cool game, honestly. Like it may be like some top down, like kind of fighting may seem like a little bit like of a simpler style. But you see a lot of like indie games and stuff like that now come out on Steam that, especially because of the difficulty sometimes, the strategy needed to kind of beat the AI, they're actually a lot of fun to play. It can get you get sucked into them just trying to get through some areas. And it looks like this could be, the beginning of something pretty cool.
Yeah, can you imagine like actually like, hey, you know what, you did this and you did well, and you've actually earned some ninja tokens inside of this, and it's like, well, hey, I can actually swap those ninja tokens now over on a DEX for some actual ADA, and it's like, okay, well now I'm actually paying myself while I play, and that's a cool concept with NFTs and gaming, I think, or where we're kind of going. But yeah, shout out to the AdaNinjaz team over there. I'm sure we'll be looking at this more in the future as well.
When you bring that up, Tommy, that's another reason, not necessarily them specifically, because I don't know their full plans as far as how developed they're going to get in the game. But even where just developing a solid game can mean so much of a difference. Like where, like a good example is like a Rocket League where it was cheap or now it's free. And like you spend some money on Rocket League getting a couple customizable things because you put in so much time that sometimes like spending $8 to change your car up because you've been playing for hundreds of hours is not a big deal. Like, and you like, I'll support these guys. Have gotten so much time playing this game. So even in a case like this, where you said you play it, Tommy, if you're having a good time though, just playing the game and engaged, you end up making whatever the currency is and can then in some way roll it into like, I'll either buy a ninja, like on a DEX, I'll get it to ADA, then buy an actual ninja, because that gives me more upgrades and more things in the game that I like to play. Like I just did it just because I wanted to like enhance my own game experience because the game's so much fun. Where then on their side, as far as like the business side goes, it just increases their value and they, you know, make their money and keep their own little internal economy going. But just being like a Rocket League or something, like if you have a solid game like that, people will continue to roll some sort of money into it to continue playing it or change your game experience or personalize it in some way. And if they can do it with their own kind of token and own economy and stuff like that, they could be really successful. You know, you just got to have that solid game foundation.
Yeah. Well, I definitely, it's June 17th. They just, I said as a little trailer, but this is launched as of right now, currently on June 29th. Shout out to the AdaNinjaz team. Yeah, this could be a potential hit out there. And it's something that I'm interested in actually trying out.
We've been following for a while now. It's cool to see them, you know, where they came from. So.
Oh, for sure. And then kind of going into like the gaming aspect of stuff too. Obviously, we can't not mention this because we're huge fans of this project.
It's been about a week since we talked about them, right?
Yeah, I think we've given them like a little pause of a break, dialed back the content a little bit for people because we always get called out. We're Yummi Maxis over here, and people, inside of our chat, I'm just like, you know what, leave us alone, dude. We're, we like the project. That's is what it is. But shout out to Yummi Universe because this is another one of the ones where we kind of envisioned that game aspect of this is like Pokemon, right? This is literally what we wanted from this project. And that's what their aspirations are, is to basically essentially build Pokemon on the blockchain. But they've gone far beyond just building a card pack or and even a game in this sense, is that these guys have actually, given utility to their actual token, Yummi coin. We've seen so many partnerships. We see projects minting with Yummi right now. So they've given this thing a value already outside of the game. So when the game actually finally comes online here, that's when stuff gets exciting for me for a project like this, and why we've talked about it so much is because now you got it actually real world utility outside of the game. It's actually worth something. And then on top of that, I can stake to earn that something and then eventually play the game to earn more of it. And if this game is fun and if it taps into my nostalgia as a kid, like in Pokemon, dude, I think this sky's the limit. They got the recipe for success if they can, continue to execute. And so far, so good with everything that they did.
Even from the beginning, dude, they've shown me so much that this is early enough that when I first got in, Tommy, and you were like, oh, they're going to be like plan on trying to be some sort of Pokemon like on Cardano. That's kind of how they're inspired. And it was so early back then that I was just like, don't give me the sales pitch, man. I'm buying it. I'm going to flip it. Like, that's what we're here for. You get free money, buy whatever. It just flips for like 10X. And then when we got it and seen more, like I never sold my original one even. Like I've just held it since.
Yep.
And they just continue to like bring in more and more stuff to where I'm just like, there's no way I'm leaving.
And Blake, what about you too with, how's your initial reaction to Yummi? Were you a big Pokemon fan growing up?
Yep. Yeah. Big Pokemon fan, collected all the cards and did the, elementary school trading in the playground, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And Yummi was a big one when it was coming out. And I was similar to Tom, like, this is just going to be a great flip opportunity. And yeah, I'm such like a safe person. So I'm only minted 2 of the 10Ks. Well, actually that's not true.
That was hard to do.
I wanted to go a lot harder. And they sold out fast for October. and I was trying to get more transactions out through my data list, but it just didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
So I tried to mint more, but I ended up getting 2, and I sold one for, a good profit because they ran up pretty high. And I do still have my original one that I minted that day, and then got a spoopy from the drop, and I've kept that one. So I'm waiting for the fall season to get some extra Yummi coin.
Yeah.
But I'm staking them. I'm staking both of them right now.
You're staking them right now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I wanted to go. You've got a couple things. There's announcements right here is that there's a vote going on currently. It's actually probably be up by the time it's over on June 30th. But right now they're doing the last burn, which is going to complete the 4th season, which will be the summer Narus. And they've done the winter burn already. They've done the spring burn, which was originally all kind of just voted on by the community that, they originally released 10,000 of those spoopies last year. They were kind of meant to be a fun Halloween drop. The community voted to keep them and keep the seasonal content are always at 10,000 of a supply, and that they were 1-to-1 on the burn. So that if you wanted to get a new collection, you had to pay 30, 40 ADA. You would burn one of the spoopies at that time to get the future next version of that. And then so on and so since we've gotten now finally to the summer portion, which launches on July 27th. But the interesting thing for me, which I don't know, we have a debate on, is that they're giving this Yummi DAO vote over here where you can either burn it, which is Team Fire, where you can actually only need to own one of the 10Ks, and as many seasonals as you have, you can choose to burn them plus 30 ADA. Or you can do the other opposite, which still seems to be the main vote, which I don't understand, is the Team Rocket version, where you have to own a 1-to-1 of the 10Ks and to burn the amount of seasonal. So if I want to burn 10, I have to hold 10Ks doing that. So Blake, are you? I don't know if you voted or anything like that. Have you? Are you Team Fire or Team Rocket?
That's in the Yummi DAO.
It's in the Yummi DAO right now. They currently have that going on as far as the Team Fire versus Team Rocket, and it's an interesting one for me because I'm like even the devs and everybody inside of it, they're all on the same page with this. I'm in the boat of just wanting to give me free reign to burn, because what people fail to realize, and I think Blake, you mentioned that actually earlier in the thing when you're talking about picking up the spoopies right now as a good buy for the fall season upcoming. There's one key factor to that people don't take into account, is that if we choose to do this burn the way that they're doing it right now with Team Fire here, Team Rocket, where you have to earn that, on average, each one of those seasonal burns has been about 2,000 of supply. 2,000 of those get burned. So you will have 2,000 winter, you'll have 2,000 spring, and then you would have 2,000 summer in that aspect, which makes up 6,000. Well, now there's 4,000 spoopies sitting out there. They're going to be worth half the value, pretty much, in a sense of what the other ones are as far as staking rewards go. So they could be a play, but if people don't burn enough of them, they may not necessarily be as much as what people think they're going to be out there. So that's a key factor why I'm saying Team Fire, because it's like, give us free reign to burn out there, because we already know we're going to get about 2,000 burn. That's been the average for the last 2 times. Why not open it up a bit and maybe get 3,000 burn, so you got a little bit better allocation between the 4 seasons. So that's always a play that I'm curious with people to be like, hey, yes, you could stack up on spoopies, but if they don't burn the way that we think, they're not nearly going to be worth what the winter, spring, and summers are going to be worth. So my big play for these, if you're really trying to think about it, and it does go the route of Team Rocket, is to load up some ADA right now, flip into some things, scoop up the summers off the floor right now, because then you're going to be able to 4x your summers for summer going into that. But I don't know. What's your?
I'm watching. Well, I was thinking the same thing. Like, how expensive the spoopies may be the cheapest ones, but even getting them plus some in price, like, I'm thinking I probably can get some of the summers around that floor price already and just snag them then. Then kind of have my pick. Maybe not pick of whatever I want, but pick of the floor as opposed to kind of
good ones.
Yeah, exactly.
After hearing that though, Blake, do you change your mindset a little bit, or is that still something where you're like, we might be going with that route still?
I don't know. I'll have to read more. I'll have to go more in depth on this. I think so. The Rocket one, it was the original vote.
Correct. And it's been the one every single time has been the Rocket. So look at the allocation. You got 284 currently to 136, but even the devs though, are all on 136.
They just want to see more of the spoopies get burned to kind of get the circulation evened out.
Yes, that's the whole point of this, is trying to make it more balanced between the 4 seasons. So it's not just like the winners right now. The winners are the most rare out of all of them right now. So they're going to get the most rewards. So I guess if you're really thinking big brain plays long term, I would look at the winners, honestly, over the others, because the winners will allocate, be the highest rewards. And then again, we're still going to come into that season this year. So I don't know, interesting thing over there for these guys, but the summer burn is coming up on July 27th. So the big thing with them is if you are staking your Yummi right now, you can leave the 10Ks in your wallet. They do 3-week, 5-week, or 7-week staking periods, and those do actually come out of your wallet. And then you get back your, at the end of the period, the smart contract kicks back the NFT and the Yummi into your wallet at the same time. And then you can restake after that. But the big thing is you can keep your 10K in your wallet. You don't have to take it out for the burn event. You can leave that in there. They'll keep track of that. The next thing though, is that if you want to burn a spoopy, it can't be staked during that time period of July 27th. So keep in mind, if you're picking spoopies or whatever they are and staking right now, and you want to burn it, make sure you have it out of your wallet during that time period.
The other crazy thing, if I'm not mistaken, the spoopies were 5 ADA, right?
Correct.
Yep. Yeah, that was
huge.
And it was a free for all too. It wasn't like a 1-to-1. It was here's the address. You got a Yummi. You can mint as many as you can. And I think that I remember that's when Stale back in the day from CNFT.io. Yeah, he got something ridiculous, and everybody was like, he had like his own custom node or something, and he was just like, "Yo, I'm a big fan of this. A free for all." And now look at them; they're like 285 floor or something like that.
That put a rift between him and Yummi though, because they were asking him before they minted if there were any problems, and he was like, "I don't know. It's he said she said stuff." It was interesting.
Definitely interesting, and obviously we're big fans of Yummi. So this is one thing for the game portion of this. Like next up after this is going to be, we're assuming it's the card packs and things like that, and then eventually the game. So when all that stuff starts to come online, man, like. That's where I get excited for this project as far as like the gaming portion goes. Because they've done well on this side of it. So, and shout out to Tom over here at this ridiculous edit of, I don't know if you got a chance to see this. It's got,
oh my gosh.
It's got the Zoolander
going over that last night. I was like, this just has to be. It's Sean. It's the void at the end that kills it, or he's just like that. He's like hell.
Yeah, like what's going on right here? Dude, shout out to you and this little. We're big fans, obviously, of Yummi. So I've got to get off this because the music's playing in the background.
That's so good.
So we got some new mints going into this as we kind of wrap towards the back end of this. For anything new in the last week, I did have to shout this out because it just kind of got announced right before we got going today. Was from Old Money. We talked about this being another like the Mallard order, one of those projects that you really have to kind of be invested in to understand what's going on. But they do have if you missed out so far, they do have a drop that's happening between now and July 6th. It's going to be the last of their campaign materials, which will bring the 4,000 NFTs per candidate. So you have Houdreau Wilson, Richard Trixon, and Horny Sanders between the three of them. So they are going to be doing a campaign drop for their promises drop to gain momentum against this silly. They're playing into their whole presidential and election thing going on. They have a very cool upvote system that's in there with their new dashboard through the Discord. So amazing stuff. But if you're looking to mint something from Old Money, make sure you're over in the Discord or connected to everything, because you will have to get connected to their website and things like that through Discord. But you can pick up a possible campaign material between now and July 6th. They're going to be doing that because also they have an auction with Dillies, which is, I love Dillies. Shout out to him. But they have an auction of the Abyss 2 that's happening at 2100 UTC on 7/6. So it's always fun to see their auctions. They go for ridiculous amounts of prices. So, and that community is just so much fun. And I know Blake,
it was fun to watch. Awesome too. Like this art is cool.
They do such a good job, Blake. I loved watching you and Ken Adams and Cooper over there, and just it was so much fun to see your introduction into it. And you're just like, what were your initial reactions to Old Money on stuff like that after going through it all?
I tried my best to break it down, and I think I left a little bit more knowledgeable, but still kind of like it's ridiculous. I do wish that I had more time to spend in it. I mean, being a content creator, you're always looking for the new thing. You're looking for, different plays. And as a part-time person who does this a lot, like, I just wish I had more time to really look into this project, but it's hilarious. It's
definitely,
they've done such a great job.
Right. It's one of those ones where it's like, it's the people who did get in early on this and are very part of that community. Like, you're a part of that community. You're a true MFer, as they call you over there. And it's just like everybody plays to the role. They play to the theme. They do so well. And they're coming up with this election process. That's the lore, everything about it. They've got like a diamond, like just sitting there. And I'm really, this is one of those projects where I'd be comfortable putting ADA into long-term as well. Just because I think the team, the technology is unprecedented over here, and the artwork too. Like, I mean, shout out. I mean, how can you make dollar bills fun and cool? Like, these guys have found a way to do that in a very fun way. Like, they literally got the middle finger there, just like, it's so much interesting. They're doing apparently a new bong series over here. Shout out to
yeah, I think that's very cool.
So they've got some cool stuff in the works outside of that. They're doing another music video number 2 coming over here from Flat Dark Earther, which I guess they're getting like a rap beef or something. Who knows? These guys have always so much fun. They've got a new little little roadmap here. It's going to make it an MFer with the coffee mug like thing over here. I don't know, but apparently the election, it says, think the election will be simple, then you don't know us. Really entertaining upcoming few months. Who am I kidding? The party never stopped, does it, MFer? So, and then Trixon over here, of course, dude. He goes, the gum on my face is a nice offensive touch. I like it. So I love the banner even between Houdreau and Trixon over here, because you look at the initial post, he put a little piece of gum on his face. So shout out to those guys. I think that's a good little drop, though.
That's why I was saying the Mallard order is kind of like a young old money, where you get deep in it, you start living in there, you start doing challenges, and you get connected. And who knows? I'm not. Old money is has done a very good job.
As a deep dive, a rabbit hole that you will get sucked into and still probably have questions afterwards. So go always shout out to the old money guys. Go join the Discord, and then make sure you head over to the designated news and read that. Outside of that, we do have a new mint that's coming out this week as far as an OG project goes, and this is Beyond Rockets and Beyond Citizens over here. This is a project for me, Blake. I'm sure with you being early into the space too, you saw this project, especially early on, man. These guys were on fire back in the day. As far as the rooms and the Adaville houses and everything that they were building. It's been a year for them as well. And they have their official 10,000 citizens, Beyond Citizens drop coming up here actually tomorrow when we're recording this. So on the 30th, this will already have launched as far as the whitelist goes. But they do have a public mint that's happening on July 1st at 2 p.m. UTC for 90 ADA. The whitelist is going to be 50 ADA. So which is interesting models happening here, because there's a lot of OG people inside the space who are either whitelisted, or if they held one of the rooms inside the tower over here, you are able to, you're going to mint and have a significantly reduced price for these citizens that are dropping. Like this is a project where it's like, I don't know if you're a new investor, you may look at this a little differently than if you were when you came in during our time frame. Like, what's your initial impressions of, or is it something you're looking at? Is it something you're going to sit on the sidelines? What are you thinking on this one?
This project's been on my, in the periphery. There is a level of nostalgia for me, as like you said, as somebody who saw these guys and tried to get in on at least the Halloween drop. That was one that I definitely was trying really hard on. Didn't get it. But I'm not sure. And like I said, I haven't really researched a lot on it. For the new person, it just seems like, 98 is not a bad mint price for the quality that these guys do. I will say that. But, is the 98 a better spend elsewhere? That's just the question. I'll kind of leave it. And, someone might say, no, I think the 98 looks great. These are going to be really popular. They could be really popular. There's other projects that have done very well with this style, and the different combinations look very unique. So, I mean, this could be a huge hit, and I'm once again blind to it. But, would I rather spend the 98 or people usually mint multiples? So, the 100, because minting 2 of these for 180, or buying a common, cornucopias plot, it's the opportunity cost, or just leaving it liquid and getting staking rewards. So it's always that opportunity cost that always gets me. And then you kind of get into this analysis paralysis, but for the new person, I'm not sure. Honestly.
Tom, what about you? Because I know you're on the outside. You've obviously saw these mint, the rooms and stuff last year. What's your kind of little take on this? Like,
I know we went over this a little bit in the live stream too. So we're getting a little cover up if you didn't get to see that. But that just like the whitelist price compared to the like regular mint price does raise some concerns for me. Depending on the dates and stuff too, like seeing the early access is that, day ahead of time. So you're going to see some of these already hitting the secondary market right away, a whole like day before we're going to get the even public sale. And it's possible if these get below that mint price on the secondary before the public sale comes out at 90, that kind of thing too, just even from there, I'm sure they probably looked into it a little differently than we have too. But just from what I've seen in our experiences, sometimes that can really hurt things. When people see, hey, why am I going to go pay 98 or something and it's only selling for 75 right now? And then they end up not selling out, and then they never get to kind of see their project through all the way because it failed before it really got started. So that is a little concerning to me. I used to love their rooms a lot, and I liked them because they weren't even just basic little plain rooms. That some had some really cool animations and stuff. I like the director's one you got, I think, the most, Tommy.
Yeah.
No, I like the little beach house you have too. The one that's like the outside exterior house.
At the Adaville, yeah.
So I do like the things they've done in the past. And they seem to be, they've been around for a long time. So they definitely have that community behind them to at least have stayed in, the game this long. I can imagine they're going to have more utility for these as we come along too.
Oh yeah.
We're just seeing this get out now. It's more just those little concerns about, the 90 ADA compared to the 50 or 60 ADA. But also because of that OG status, the names involved as far as people that hold them, that could be enough to kind of get them at least through that to sell out and keep the hype above that 90 ADA. And then they can, I'd like to see them continue. That is what I would like to see. I'd like to see where they develop this at least, because I like the room so much.
Well, I think they've got that. They were obviously one of the ones in the early days that, good luck. I remember when the pool PM room, like sale and stuff like that went live, and dude, it went like that. And you were in and out in 2 seconds, and you were good luck trying to grab one of those. And even at that time, I think the ADA price was still a decent amount. It was like 70 or 80 ADA back then. So you definitely have OG holders in there, and how much they're going to show up for this will be interesting because a lot of time has passed since the last time they've done like a big drop. So I agree that it's going to be an interesting look, and like Ken, the nostalgia of an OG project who hasn't been at the forefront, I'd say, of everything, but has been very recognized and well-known throughout the community over time. How well can they do in this market as far as they're dropping to 10K mint. Like that's a bold move in this market right now. So you could definitely run into this, but potentially if stuff does drop below the mint price, even stuff like that, long-term, this possibly could be a good pickup in the long way. So gallery blueprint all coming soon. We don't know exactly what it is. I got a whitelist spot. I have an Adaville. I think I'm going to mint 2 of these off where I'm at right now, just to get into it. And I have to shout out to the Decentral Perk album, the Lofi Beats. It's probably one of the things I listen to all the time. Like Beyond Rockets last year was a ridiculous amount of stuff. David King actually sent me an NFT of the Adaville house because he goes, if you've listened to more Beyond Rockets than I have, he goes, I'll give you something. And turns out that I listened to way too much.
Does anybody else say Lofi? Can we talk about that for a second?
Is it lo-fi, Lofi? I call them Lofi beats.
Tom, do you say Lofi or lo-fi?
It's lo-fi.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Lofi beat guy.
Well, I think I've never heard somebody say Lofi before.
It comes from low fidelity, high fidelity, I think.
Lofi,
so,
I don't know, dude. It's Lofi beats to me. That's
it works.
Oh, that's great.
Yo, shout out to I need Siri translate right now. All right. Well, shout out to Beyond Rockets, though. I do like the artwork on that, and I think wish them the best.
I want to see them come out with some more. I really want to see where that's going to go. At least, there may not be one I personally jump in on the initial mint. I would jump on the whitelist if I had those already still. But I might be watching secondary to get in maybe on a deal. So I also think that exactly. And I think they've been around long enough that as long as they can sell out, even if, that's not one that the floor may stay all the way up at 100 right away, if it gets down to like, that 45, 60 even.
Maybe good.
I think that if they continue to develop though and get the hype back into them, get their name kind of back out there a little more than what we've seen recently, it can definitely push that back up. And if they get something going here.
The more that I'm seeing, I saw the little feature there, the more I'm more on the fence about it. One little hack that some people might know is you can go to pool.pm/tokens and you can see what things are being minted in real time. Now you're running the risk of it already minting out before you kind of see how fast it's moving. But when the public mint goes live, it really will be interesting to watch the pool.pm/tokens, because if they start like, 50, 50, 50, 50, and they start really moving, then that might be a signal or indicator for you to be like, okay, maybe I'll mint one. And see where it goes. The other thing too is pixel art has, pros and cons. Like some people really love pixel art. Other people are like, I'm tired of the pixel art. So
and it's curious though too, because he does have a very unique style, and if he's building out those citizens to populate that metaverse, obviously you're going to need somebody that you're going to relate to, and you want to be a part of that. So there's a whole other aspect to the metaverse portion of that, and I think that's a very cool place. I really do like the artwork and the graphics on there. So I wish them all the best, and I hope it does well. It's something. It would be a nice, refreshing take on something the metaverse play. For something that was kind of built organically at the start of all this, before Pavia and all those guys were very popular, But I guess that puts me into like kind of like our last like wrap up topics out here with Blake. So I know we don't want to keep you 3 hours tonight over here, as much as I know you're just getting back from a trip.
Freedom after dark.
Yeah, no freedom after dark.
Yeah, no freedom after dark tonight. I can't be doing that much anymore.
We told you 10:07 on this side. We've just hit 3 minutes past that, so we'll keep these short and sweet at the end here. But
it's great.
As far as like, long-term vision, for what are you excited for, I guess, the most in the next upcoming months, with everything going on? Like, are there any projects, are there any events or anything that you're excited about, in the near future?
The things I'm excited about are
or long future, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the gaming and metaverse projects. Can they really deliver? Everybody talks a good talk, but in the end, can you get users? I mean, anybody who has a, venture capitalist idea to make an app or to do a crazy website or to build a game, like, okay, that all sounds great. Do you have any users? Well, we don't have any right now, but we're okay. Well, that's the X factor. And so it'll be interesting to watch Cornucopias turn on here. I don't know the exact date, but sometime soon. And we've been hearing about that for a long time, for those that have been in for the space for a long time. Equine NFT, we were hearing about them back in, August, September. I think it was the Cardano Summit was like the first kind of big teaser that they had. Mm-hmm. So that's coming up on 12 months. Those are really, Yummi Universe and the card packs in the game. Just seeing some of that stuff turn on, because right now, in terms of stuff you can actually do with NFTs, I can have them as my profile picture. There's some version or form of passive income in terms of like a token or something, and I can get staking rewards. There's music stuff there's some other ones that I'm probably blanking on just off the top of my head. But when you get into some of those other things, it'll be really interesting to watch that play out. I will also say, I'm obviously bullish on Spacebudz. I was actually listening to a podcast today in the car as I was driving back home from my work trip, and listening to the good old Gary V. And he was talking about CryptoPunks and the CryptoPunks versus BAYC stuff. And he was like, look, BAYC still has a lot to prove, because, they are at the top, but how do they stay at the top? And he's like, but for punks, like, history's on their side. Like, they literally don't have to do anything. They are like the standard for the 10K PFP. Like, they don't have to do anything. And I feel that way for Spacebudz. Like, Alessandro's still building. He's spending a lot of time building out Cardano, but in the end, like, Spacebudz has history on their side. And so that was what Thor and I were talking about, last week. And so I'm excited to see what that does just as they go forward, and how the community feels about them, and all that kind of stuff. I always give Tommy FOMO, so I apologize.
Yeah, dude, I always just think back to last year in like early August, of sitting there with my 1200 ADA that I originally started with, and buying a BitPunk over a Spacebud. I had my hand on the buy button for 600 ADA for a space monkey in a star suit with like a pistol. And rip to me, man. That was one that got away. And maybe one day here. Maybe if I can make enough Yummi.
As far as what I'm most excited about, I mean, right now, at least in the kind of immediate future, is we're going still to this phase of everyone's getting their tokens out and getting them kind of stable. I'm ready to have like their intended use like be available, right? Even Yummi right now, where it does have some uses, they've come out with some partnerships that allows you to use it right now. But we got all these coins out, all these tokens. I'm ready to be able to actually use them how they're intended to be used within their own setting, metaverse game, whatever it may be. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, is to get these more developed. I know you got Yummi we talked about, we got the Clay token in their metaverse, cornucopias, Pavia, all these tokens that are just kind of sit in your wallet and kind of get that initial hype. Usually see it on the secondary boost some of the actual original NFTs because this came out, but then it's like now it's just sitting here again. And it's like, I'm ready to use some of these and actually see, which ones are practical, which ones have real utility. That's what I'm excited to see for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you on that aspect of as far as like being able to utilize what their intended use case was for those. Why are they putting all this out?
It's like Vivi. It's like I got all these tokens. I can't do anything with them. Yeah, I just got I got all this sitting here. Like I'm ready to use it. Like you gave me, I kept it. I held the NFT, gave my airdrop. Like you show me videos and all these little previews. Like I'm ready to get into that stuff.
Yeah. I think for me, long term, what excited for, obviously, besides Yummi, I can talk about that all day as far as getting the game, card packs and stuff like that. Don't need to beat that into the ground. But yeah, that's for sure one of the ones I'm looking at. I actually really am excited for Mallard. I think they got something fun in the works for them. Clays are a definite one. And I'm actually really kind of curious about Ape Society. I got my craftsman over there and staking for their society token and what they can do. They built a really cool, strong community so far. One that I'm not in, but I would like to be in still, and I sold out of it early on, is actually Chill Kongs. I still have yet to get into those. I think they're another strong project that continues to that could be a very, even though they're in the forefront right now, I feel like they're kind of being slept on with like the extra long period before those trippy and the magic Kongs come out. So I think that's something for me. I definitely look at old money. Definitely another one long term as far as building out with that election and that whole universe is going to be. There's so many.
Let's see what we're electing.
Yeah, I those are all fun things that I'm like looking to like long term right now. And then actually another one I still hold on to. It's I really like the project is Overexposed. I still think they got a lot to prove. But as far as the quality of what they did, I mean, I'm obviously I really do enjoy that project too, and not just because I hold one of those 10 ones. Which dude, shout out to was it Travis? Like recently sold his.
He did.
What did he
sell for?
4,500 ADA.
Nice.
So he got out, hype died down. He decided I'm moving out of it and then getting into something new, which shout out to you, man. You made 45X on your initial investment, dude. Yeah. That's an amazing still return on that. So definitely a lot. And as far as just like you said, coming online, getting all these things here into the forefront, that's what I'm kind of excited for. We've talked about this a bunch on our show break, is what Freedom 35 kind of means to us. I think it's a fun question now as we have guests coming back on. It's like, what is your version of Freedom 35?
Oh man, that is a loaded question.
Yeah.
And I kind of shared shout out to CNFT News. I shared a little bit. They were asking me some great questions on their show a month or two ago now.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, this is my part-time thing. I obviously really enjoy it. That's why I spend so much time on it. But Freedom 35, I don't know if I would. I'm still debating on if I should do the full-time thing. And Tommy, we talked about that when we met in person.
For sure.
I don't picture relax on the beach like Freedom 35. I think about what I can continue to contribute to Cardano and like NFTs, and whether that's. It seems like right now my arena is kind of just making videos and helping inform people on what's going on that don't have as much time as me, or are much more of a passive. I'm kind of interested in this, but I'm not willing to spend the 10 hours or the 20 hours a week that's necessary to do, these certain different things.
Yeah.
I will say, and I I just talked to you guys last night, and I actually just grinded out a catalyst proposal.
Okay.
So the deadline is tomorrow. So I had to grind it out. Shout out to Relic, my Discord mod, but I'm asking for funds for, a part-time thing, for the next 6 months, kind of building out and breaking down, what would it what would it mean to get like a whole website built out, and a video editor so I have more time to focus on ideas or projects that I want to cover. And then the video editor goes over and cuts it all, thumbnails, or have a giveaway wallet so that I can, do fun giveaways and live events. And there's some other like studio upgrades and so it's like, I think it's like 35,000 USD. So it's not a little bit, but then also you look at like the subcategory, there's like 8 million ADA in this fund. So it's like, it's not that much, but so I don't know if I'm going to get funded. I hope that people enjoy the stuff that I do. And it's obviously a free way I don't know how much people know about Project Catalyst, but I don't know. I was like, hey, let's try it and see what happens. But That obviously would relieve a lot of stuff and would pay me a little bit more for the time that I put in. And hopefully I bring value to people who watch our channels.
Yeah.
So Freedom 35, honestly, is like, I want to spend as much time in Cardano as possible, and still take care of my family and, do all the other things. But it's been a blast. It really has been amazing this last year and a half.
Yeah, I like that answer, man. Shout out to you for the Project Catalyst stuff. I know that's it's a thing we haven't really tapped into much with us beyond on the NFT side, but it's such a powerful tool inside of Cardano that a lot of people just, if you're in the NFT side, maybe not know about. I know Jay Crypto is always talking about Project Catalyst things going on over there as well. But yeah, that's a great way to get funded, dude. Congrats to you. If you would love to share any of that stuff, we'd be happy to go out there and show it out to our communities as well, man. Because like at the end of the day, I think we started in crypto. Freedom 35 was just a way for us to kind of hit the jackpot, right, and just live financially free by the age of 35, right? Like that was the initial goal. And now it's like I find myself running into that same kind of boat of like, dude, I kind of wanted to spend more time here. Like I really enjoyed my time here, but I can't. I mean, I got a great career. I have family. Everything's going good. It's not that I want to get away from that. It's just that I find myself wanting to be a part of this even more and more as I learn about it and grow. So yeah, shout out to you, dude, because I would love to see that too. I'd love all of us to be able to, like a year from now, just like we're all doing something inside this space where it's just like a daily thing of like, hey, we're on BlakeCN, hey, we're on Tom's, hey, we're doing a project, hey, we're doing this, and it's just like it makes sense for as this grows inside this space. So very cool.
Yeah. I don't want to go too long in it, but the other thing too that I've thought about is like, well, I should do an NFT project, because that's just kind of that would be the obvious play of like I have an NFT channel and I'll do a project, and that'll be a great way for me to raise money. But to be completely honest, like I've thought a lot about it, and I would like to do something like that in the future, but nothing's really like hitting the nail on the head. Like this is definitely what I should do. So it feels weird for me to like then ask my community to spend, 50 or whatever the price is on something that I'm like trying to rush. And so like Project Catalyst, and like I knew about it, but just kind of didn't really think about it until Relic kind of brought it up to my mind. But it's a free way to support the channel, and Cardano gets a good deal out of it, because then I just continue to make great stuff about
good little
blockchain. So
good little hint then, because of what you're saying right now, because at the end of the day, it's not that you don't have anything to like, dude, you have a lot to offer, with what you do. You take the time out and spend the thing the same way that we do. And inside this space of like, people will come to watch you. Clearly you're growing your channel. Clearly people are here to look and want and value your opinion right now. And it's not that we don't want to I don't want to, maybe it's in the sense of like, he's going to drop this dumb profile pic and what's it really going to do for me kind of thing. And you can look at NFTs. It's more of like a business than marketing and a subscription model in a good way. If you are in the block is hot, which I shout out to Jason and what he's built over there for his Discord, but he's got this plays channel, which I know you have a plays channel. I know over there, we have a plays channel. We just dropped something about Mallard order. Hujro from Old Money dropped a really good thing as far as the business and the marketing aspect. If you go check out Block's Discord, he actually tells you, he's like, look, every few months you might, you don't have to drop 10,000 of these things. You can do 700, 200, 300. It's a new way to revolutionize the subscription model for things. So NFTs have a way to do that. And if you have a community and a following because they trust you already, you're not just selling them nothing. What a better way to do that by dropping an NFT or something along those lines. And it doesn't need to be the craziest looking profile pic out of anything to do. You just got to figure out your area. So I'd highly recommend anybody who hasn't checked that out as well, because it's a whole new marketing and aspect for that. And possibly you and I and Tom and all of us, for us to figure this out and get into it. So it's definitely a loaded question, like you said, but hopefully one day, like you said, if worst case scenario, we're hanging out at CNFT Con and all just enjoying the time that we've the new relationships we've made out of it. So, Blake, dude, it's always been fun to have you onto the channel. I'm sure we could do this all night, but again, we're not going to keep you. I know you've had a busy week. So, dude, shout out to you for jumping on. I always have fun out here doing these things. So
for sure,
we got to get you onto F35 live here soon.
Let's do it.
Jump onto a Monday. That'd be a lot of fun just to kind of chat with the community and talk some deep dives and things like that.
Yeah, I'm
so always welcome. I'm sure we'll reach out to you about that. And maybe we'll kick a CNFT live one of these days again.
That would be awesome. I think everybody's got summer travel and, it's kind of getting all over the place, but we really do. That was just so much fun. We've got to bring it back.
I think we just set a busy
July, but yeah, we got to do it.
We should do one before CNFT Con. We should definitely do one, like kind of build it up. Everybody's grown a little bit in their different markets where they're at. Do one giant thing, set up all the projects, we'd be set. So I don't know. Maybe we'll set that up. But yeah, Blake, I don't know, Tom, you got anything else wrapped up on? Otherwise, we've had a great time chatting with you tonight again. And thank you for filling in for
Thanks
TJ.
For filling in for sure. Yeah.
It's a great guest. Maybe this is the part where TJ, you get kicked off right now, and then he's like reading. He's like, oh god, no, we love TJ.
I'm gonna get the call later. You got the part.
Yeah.
TJ's officially out. So
shout out to TJ, man.
TJ's great.
He's been awesome out there, and it's a lot of work, especially with him. And Blake, I'm sure you can attest to, with having a family and then doing this, not being your full-time thing and it not making you the money that supports the family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different world out there. So shout out to TJ though. We always appreciate, you've been missed this past week. So Blake, thank you for jumping on tonight. Thank you for everybody listening. This has been another Freedom 35ers podcast, and you guys will catch you on the next one.